The most important economic shift of this century did not arrive with an announcement. There was no vote, no collapse, no single moment that signaled change. That silence was not accidental. Transformations meant to be resisted arrive loudly. The ones meant to persist arrive quietly, normalize gradually, and become visible only after the rules have changed. For most of modern history, the promise was simple. Effort moved you forward. Productivity expanded the future. Patience was rewarded. That promise shaped careers, education, and risk. It shaped how people imagined progress and how they measured success. What has changed is not technology alone. It is what the system now optimizes for. And when optimization changes, outcomes follow, whether people notice or not. Most people feel the shift anyway. Effort no longer compounds. Security feels thinner. The future feels closer, but smaller. This is not psychological. It is structural. For a long time, economic progress felt cumulative. Experience mattered. Time worked in your favor. Momentum built quietly. That sensation was real. It was designed into the system. Rewards favored consistency over speed, and duration over timing. The longer you stayed in motion, the harder it became to fall backward. That logic has weakened. Not publicly. Not suddenly. Gradually. Effort still matters. But it no longer compounds automatically. Experience no longer insulates. Tenure no longer protects. Work creates value, but it no longer guarantees continuity. Progress must now be defended, re-earned, and actively maintained, instead of passively accumulated. The system did not become unfair. It became faster. And when speed dominates, timing outweighs endurance. And motion alone is no longer enough. For most of modern economic history, value was created through production. You built something. You improved something. You added output. That did not exist before. That contribution accumulated. Factories scaled. Professions rewarded mastery. Organizations valued continuity. Today, production is no longer scarce. Leverage is. Leverage over attention. Leverage over distribution. Leverage over timing. Those positioned upstream of flow capture more value than those who sustain it. Platforms extract more than producers. Gatekeepers more than builders. Effort still matters, but it is intercepted before it compounds. Value has not disappeared. It has changed. Where it is captured. For a long time, risk felt manageable. It could be planned for, absorbed by institutions, smoothed over time. Most people believed that if they avoided extremes, the system would absorb volatility on their behalf. That assumption is no longer true. Risk has not vanished. It has been redistributed. Institutions that once absorbed uncertainty now pass it through. Corporations externalize volatility to contractors and consumers. Governments defer instability through policy and debt, shifting exposure forward in time. Markets price risk instantly, but distribute consequence unevenly. The result is a quiet repricing. Not announced. Not debated. But felt. People experience it as fragility. As the sense that one mistake, one interruption, one unexpected event can undo years of effort. This is not paranoia. It is adjustment. Risk is no longer socialized. It is individualized. For much of the 20th century, economic security was tied to ownership. You owned assets. You owned tools. You occupied positions. Expected to endure. Ownership created insulation. Assets accumulated slowly. But they stayed put. They anchored people to a predictable future. That model is eroding. Not loudly. Not all at once. Steadily. Access is replacing ownership as the dominant economic condition. You rent software instead of buying tools. You lease housing instead of building equity. You depend on platforms you do not control. Access feels flexible. But flexibility transfers power. Terms can change. Prices can rise. Availability can disappear. Without warning. Ownership absorbs shock. Access transmits it. Security becomes conditional, temporary, and revocable. For much of modern economic life, mistakes were survivable. Careers bent without snapping. Setbacks slowed progress without erasing it. The system allowed room for recovery. That room is disappearing. Not because people are less capable, but because systems are less forgiving. Buffers are thinner. Costs arrive faster. Recovery windows are shorter. Small disruptions now carry outsized consequences. A missed paycheck compounds quickly. A brief interruption cascades into debt. A single misstep can unwind years of effort. This is not personal failure. It is structural compression. When margins shrink, variance becomes dangerous. Resilience stops being assumed. It becomes a privilege. This economic shift does not eliminate opportunity. It rearranges it. The system still rewards action. But it no longer rewards endurance in the way most people expect. It rewards positioning. Those closer to leverage capture more value than those who sustain output. Those who control access extract more than those who perform labor. Those who move early benefit more than those who endure. This does not require conspiracy. It requires structure. When systems accelerate, timing outruns persistence. When margins thin, position outranks patience. This is why advice from the past feels increasingly hollow. It was written for a slower economy. Security now comes from adaptability, from optionality, from understanding where value is intercepted before it reaches effort. Those who recognize this shift do not escape pressure. They navigate it. The future is not disappearing. It is reorganizing.